man. I bet this dome light's hotter than the surface of the sun. Ah! Oh, God. Oh, it went off. Whew, let me fan it a little bit. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Full Blast Garage. On this episode, we're going to tackle the gauges on the old 84 Dodge. And this is a special package that's meant for this truck from New Vintage USA. And honestly, this is the first time I've used this company. In the past, I've been a real proponent of Intellitronics, but man, they only make the digitals for this truck, and that ain't the look we're going for here. So New Vintage USA gets all my money, like the better part of a paycheck. And we're hoping everything goes nice and smooth, but you know, the first thing we're gonna need to do is grab the old instruction manual and just fling it. We're gonna put this thing on full blast. I don't know, we're gonna need that. We better hold on to all this paperwork. Make sure you do it on full blast. So, if you have not done one of these in the past, don't be too intimidated. So this essentially replaces your 3 cluster gauges that you have in these Dodges, and this truck, nothing works, which is pretty awesome. So when you're doing something like this, make sure you got a good voltmeter. You're gonna need just some regular old tools because you will be installing new oil pressure sending unit, new water temp sending unit, and we're hoping the old wires are good. And I picked up this thing. It's like a quick connect kit, but for some reason, if you guys look, the old 84 Dodge does not come up. So I'm just kind of rolling the dice that, hey, maybe this actually does work for an 84 truck, because they do say it works for a Ram Charger. And I can't imagine Dodge would be, you know, changing things up between the truck and the Ram Charger, but I could be totally wrong. And we're not going to trust the sending unit for the speedometer that doesn't work in this truck, so we went GPS. That way, if I change the gears, tire size, anything, we're good. We don't have to do any other changes. So this thing comes, this little black bezel kit, you know, it kind of helps adapt the gauges to the truck. Then you got your book for your wiring, your book that's specific to your truck. I got the Snap Adapt book, which hopefully that thing works. It might make things a lot easier. Then we got our plugs for the back of our gauges. All the wiring, it looks like, is labeled. I see some labels at least. If not, you know, it's spelled out pretty clearly in the books. And this is just kind of one of those projects. This will set your truck off big time. I mean, it's gonna be a night and day difference from what we have inside the truck. Speaking of that, let's take a look at what we do have. Show you guys what the gauges look like right now. All right, so inside the truck, Dodge made it real easy for us. At least we got 3 gauges, all the same bucket size, but for some reason on this truck, none of them work. Not a single one. Headlights, wiper switch, all that stuff works. Never tried the cargo light. There's a lot of things that do work, but just not a single gauge. Mechanical speedo does not work. Nothing. This gauge never moves. And I'm hoping at least the wiring to these senders are good, and it's something internally where maybe, you know, these aren't getting 12 volts anymore, because Dodges have this weird thing where like everything's powered off of one post in here. Hopefully sending unit wires are good. Otherwise, I'll run my own, which I've done in the past because I've bought stuff that had no wiring and just ran my own sending unit wires and grounds. Kind of hoping that we don't have to do that here. You know, it'd make the install a whole lot easier. But you guys can see this is what we're working with right now. And if y'all want to mark it down, we're at 89,413. Honestly, I can't imagine this truck has 189,000. So I don't know. Who would have taken this truck to almost 200,000 miles? It's kind of hard to believe, but I think it might be closer to correct than incorrect. And our foot pedal here, not completely wore to pieces. There's the emergency brake one. Don't look like it's been touched too much. So let's go ahead and grab our Phillips, because we got screws under here. We're gonna have to smoke out and just see what we can do to start taking this thing apart. All right, I'm working on trying to get it really lit up in here so everything's really visible. I'm gonna start this little map light looking doohickey. Uh-oh. Slowly. Slower, faster. All right. Came out. Let's throw those in that little pocket there. There's a chance that I didn't need to remove this, but since it's right there, oh, might have lost that one forever. Let me see. Found it. All right. Since it's right really tight up against this, I wanted to go ahead and have it loose so I can at least kind of snake it out sideways like that. All right, so there is one more screw hiding down here on top of the old Pioneer radio. And she feels pretty free, and I'm gonna be gentle. Woo! Come on, don't break. Might need to pull the shifter down, possibly. Man, this thing is dirty. Definitely doing kind of a thorough cleaning before I put any of this stuff back in. I mean, there's mud up here, caked. Let's see, is there another screw somewhere over here? Nope, it's in there. It's got to be like a retaining clip. Alright, you just kind of got to pull down. There's a little bit of a ledge on this guy up here. So you pull down, that kind of releases everything. And now we're free. That wasn't a screw falling, was it? Just want to check. There's so much crap on this floor. If you don't look immediately for something, you're not going to find it. Let's go ahead and grab all these screws, just so I got them. And whatever this thing is. Oh, that's the back for the rear view mirror. Got a new one of those, so really don't need that, but I'll probably open this thing and just see maybe if the bulb is bad. Definitely gonna be a tight squeeze here. Ooh, don't crack. This, no tilt column is not coming in handy. I can tell you that. Man, am I gonna have to drop the column? This light here on the hub looks like it's bolted on. So I need to get this guy up over the column. Definitely scuffed it some, while also working around our headlight switch and our wiper switch. Whew, glad they built some flex into this thing. Jeez, she's in here tight. Wow, there's like leaves and stuff back behind here. Oh, it's that four-wheel drive. Oh, don't break. Good Lord. Oh, free, and I think I only scuffed it a little. I'll take it. This type of stuff, that's a win every day of the week. So we've got Phillips holding this guy on this light right here. There's two Phillips heads on the back. We're going to need to unscrew. Kind of remember the orientation too, because this is for the automatic hubs. And I mean, I'd like it to light up if possible. Trying to make everything work on this truck. Don't want to lose these guys. They're really tiny little screws that are probably super specific. Okay. There we go. And there's the lights. So we'll go ahead and let that thing just kind of hang and dangle there. Pull out our cover. Man, pretty good. Not much damage. Look, the size. Oh, it just broke into a bunch of pieces, but there's the main piece of the dirt dauber nest that was inside the vent. So that's good. All right, so got that off. Now gonna need to see what we need to do. Oh my Lord, I gotta show you all this. Look at the size of that dirt dauber nest right there. Wow. I mean, this is why you got to take this stuff apart and clean it up. I mean, who knows how long any of this stuff's been in here, why none of this stuff doesn't work. I mean, this is why you got to go in here and clean. So we're going to keep working, take off the cluster, see what we got on the backside there. Hopefully it's that same plug on that new thing that's make everything super easy to do. That'd be nice. Okay, from the looks of it, we got, I think, 4 Phillips. I don't believe any part of this is retained. I think this is essentially deleted. I could be wrong, but on the square bodies, at least with Intellitronics, I believe you do keep at least the white part, the body. You kind of pull the guts out. This would be kind of nice if everything's new. Alright. Come on out. How many dirt daubers will we find back here? Probably a bunch. Probably a bunch. Could that have been what caused no electrical continuity. Maybe. It's probably just a Dodge thing. Well, big old dirt daubers up here. There's 3 of those guys right on top. I ain't even gonna pull them off. They're pretty tight. Oh. So there is a speedometer wire. Definitely going to the speedometer. Kind of surprised. There was something in there. So, from the looks of it, we do have a round plug and a flat plug, maybe. But the flat plug looks a little curved. I don't know, that might hurt us. But let me go ahead and take a look at everything back there and see if it might line up right. All right, so the plugs here on the Ram Charger are not the same. So I had to go through my round pin, kind of label everything there, and then the flat one. So we got ground, right turn, fuel, oil, 12 volts, blank, brake. I think that's like a brake, like your emergency brake, maybe, indicator, and cooling temp. Flat side, number 1, we got seat belts, volts, high beams, and that's like a shunt, I guess, maybe a ground shunt or something, or probably 12 volts again. Then we got the illumination indicator, lights, like your interior lights, and left turn. So what I'm going to do is take that, come back here to our kit, which I'm not going to lie, I'm not super thrilled about this setup. So we've got 3 plugs like this, and every one of them's the same. I kind of wish each one had its own plug with its own wire colors. So what you got to do is come in here, go to your book, and this one's essentially the closest, I think, to what I have. I don't have anything exactly. I'm gonna have to go through and just splice like your hots, sending units, everything together. But I'm going to use this plug, and I'm just going to make my own diagram, essentially. Like, they have one to use and where to plug, which honestly, for the gauges you're given, makes absolutely no sense. New Vintage needs to go through and kind of redo this, because they have all these things listed: speedo and tack, speedo and tack. So that means you're supposed to splice the wires together and send it over there. But what I don't see is any wires going to the 3rd gauge. So they give you all this diagram, and there's nothing. Nothing, like there's not. Oh, no, it is. No, this is for another year. So they don't give you any of the wires where to put them, for the 3rd gauge. It just says speedo and tack. So they need to update this to have that 3rd gauge labeled, and then like the corresponding wires, say like, let's see, right there, fuel sending unit. That shouldn't go to the speedo and tack. Where does it go? Oh, speedo green. See, stuff's just wrong. It's not right. I can decipher it because I understand what they're trying to do. Because when you look at this is a quad gauge like what I have. And say like you go to green, which is what that little diagram said before. Green is your fuel level. So just whatever harness you're plugging into the 4 gauge, you make sure green is your fuel. And they don't have anything diagrammed out right on the thing that you're paying extra for. So do a little bit better, New Vintage. I'm not really impressed with how you guys have done the diagram and the wiring. Like, do different plugs, different wires, something to differentiate. It'll help us out. I can decipher all this. I'm about to go through. I mean, I got the heat gun, all the connectors. We're about to start doing some daisy chains and wire nutting, and we're going to get it done. But no, I'm not going to wire nut, but it's one small step above that. So I'm going to go ahead, take these 3 harnesses, splice them all together, because you got to splice a hot between all of them, a ground between all of them, and then you got to start figuring out, you know, where does, say, like your left turn indicator go? Where does your right turn indicator go? And hopefully everything's just right on the speedo and I'm not like jumping over to the tack for a right turn indicator. I can't imagine they would do that to me. It just says speedo for right turn, speedo for left turn. So please be right, New Vintage. Please try and help me out on this. But I'm going to go ahead, just off camera, do all my wire in here, and I'll show you kind of what the harnesses look like when I'm done. And not incredibly happy with this, but if it functions, that's great. But for your average person that's just going to grab this and try and do it on their own, this is really going to trip them up. All right, I got most of the wiring done. Kind of waiting to run a few things myself down here. So, coil up there. From what it looks like, I can grab a tack signal off the negative side of the coil. This is an HEI unit, eBay style. So hopefully we're not going to fry anything, but I don't see any other option on this car for tack signal. I could be wrong on that, but I think that is it, because I'm not running any of the Mopar ignition system. It's literally a 12 volt on. It's an HEI, and I've never had an issue pulling a tack signal on like GM where it says tack, pulling it right there. And theoretically, the negative side of the coil should be the same thing. Could be wrong on that, but I'm going to pull it from there. And then back there, you can kind of see down over there in the background, that guy right in the middle there. That's the oil pressure sending unit, kind of the barrel unit. I'm going to replace that guy. And then it is incredibly hard to see here on this car. If I can get it, I can't even get a finger on it. But right, the tip of my finger is on it right there. That is water temperature sensor, or the sender for this car. So that guy's got to come out. I got the wire just kind of dangling over here, right here, that came off of it, because I was doing some resistance tests just to make sure my diagram was right. And then oil pressure unit already has a wire on it, so we're going to reuse on that. Pull that unit off, put the new one on, and I'll show you guys what they gave us. I think all these threads are the same. So this is our new oil pressure unit. This is our new temp sensor. So as long as they thread out and back in same fashion, we should be good. So don't think we'll need any thread sealant on either of these guys. I might just put a tad bit of the liquid style dope. Don't do Teflon. These systems ground. You use Teflon tape, you're gonna mess with the ground and your gauge might not read right. So I've got all the jumble of wiring done for all the 3 gauges. And then once inside, got to wire up this GPS speedo, but it's pretty easy. You tap into hot, ground, and run a wire straight to your speedometer to the speed signal. And that's it. There might be a setup process. I have no idea, but hopefully it's super simple, because in the past, like in Teletronics, it's set up for your GPS already. So when you plug it in, it knows what's going on and it just works. So it should be set up correctly. So we're using their brand of gauges. So it's set up for their brand. If you are using another brand, you might have to calibrate. So that's good. Positive new vintage. You've done something excellent. So let's go ahead. I'm going to climb under there, add my tack wire, put in the new sending units, and we'll start. I'll go ahead and clean up, just dirt dauber everything that's in there, and then we'll start fitting everything back in place. I think I've got the wiring pretty much licked. It's all set up. So wish me luck. And we're moving along. I got kind of everything wiped down. They give you this bezel that you're gonna stick over your stock gauges just like that. What you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and place everything in the correct hole. So your 4 gauge, right side. Your speedo is gonna be in the middle. Oh, don't drop it. Tack gauge on the left. Now's the time to kind of center everything, get it looking right, make sure it fits, be perfect time. And I'm gonna leave these stickers on till the last minute. I think I can try and get them pretty well dialed without them on there. And then you got, where are they? So these guys here, these like aluminum clamps. What you're gonna wanna do is don't tilt this thing over too crazy, because then your gauges will fall out. You're gonna wanna place these on the back here. You have to kind of spread them out a little bit to get enough kind of downward force there where you can lock them in. So you're gonna wanna put some nuts on the back of here. I don't know. Oh. All right, we got a little bit. We got a little bite there. It's not much, but it's just a tickle enough to kind of get everything started and going. So we'll go ahead and put the nuts, bolts, everything, get all these guys. Oh, dang it. See? That's why you don't tilt it over very much. They're not in there like super tight. So if the tack's wonky, I'm sure it's not the eBay HEI I got it plugged into, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and gently lay these guys down, get everything set up, tighten down, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, I'll bolt it in. Oh, they ain't gonna fall out now. Well, they got the force of all the He-Mans on the back of there. No, I would not torque these guys down too tight. You got to remember, they're pressing up against the plastic that's, you know, your 1984 cluster. I mean, I'd say it's an okay look. I mean, it'd be cooler if it was wood grain and kind of matched everything else. I don't know. I'm okay with it. I can live with it. It's better than what we had, so can't complain about that. And what I'm going to do before I bolt it in, I'll go ahead and just plug everything in, make sure we got power for you know, we screw everything down and we got to pull it all back apart. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Fingers crossed there's not a smoke show going on. Okay. I'm about to set the camera down for a second. See if I can put it somewhere where it won't fall. Key on. Do we have anything? Uh-oh. What's going on? Dang it. Let's make sure everything's plugged in good. Well, after some trials and tribulations out here, old new vintage, they do have it right. So technically this part, the snap adapt thing for Mopar, is not for this year model truck. Not that it doesn't fit or doesn't plug in, because it does. What happened was, after I wired this up, I was checking my pins to make sure things matched up. So, for instance, I think it's your G. Let me see here. Which one had 12 volts? E. So, for instance, E on this truck has 12 volts. So you plug that guy on, check pin E on this side, no 12 volts. So I check continuity, and on this side, where the E plugs in from my harness, no continuity. You jump a couple pins over, you got continuity. So what it means is that the plugs, so I cut mine off because I was done with the snap adapt. I mean, you could technically, you know, through process of elimination, go through, you know, get whichever pin, because it should be in the same order. Get whichever pin you have, plug it in. But I wasn't willing to do that, so I cut. But what it is the RAM charger must have clocked the wires just a little bit different, so that means that, you know, an A on this plug might be a C on the other plug. And it's just different enough to where I wasn't willing to go through and do continuity on each plug and figure out where to go. It was easier just to cut it off, and I was a little tired, I'm not gonna lie. I'd been out here quite a while. This is something you can do. You can use this. You just are gonna have to go through, once you plug in, figure out on this side where you have continuity with each wire, and then when you go to plug your wire in that goes to your gauges, just make sure you're putting it on the right post. So what I did instead, cut everything off, I used their diagram. So it tells you where each wire is, and I had already, you know, hand-drawn, diagrammed out my pin. And honestly, finding that was one of the harder things. I can figure out what a few of the things do on the harness just for using your voltmeter. But man, not everything's clear because a lot of things are ground referenced. So your oil pressure, your water temp, your fuel level, those are all going to have different ohms readings, and your ground will have an ohms reading. So if you're using your ground as reference, going through your voltmeter, you're going to get 4 different levels of ohms. You know, likely your lowest level is your actual ground, and then your 3 others that are left are somewhere in between. I recommend, you know, probably if you're working on this year model truck, I mean, really, it's probably easiest to just bite the bullet, cut your plug off, and wire it like that. If anybody really needs the wiring diagram for this year model, man, just hit me up in a comment. I'll send it over to you. Not super complicated. Everything's labeled. You can see the numbers, the letters. The only thing New Vintage USA didn't do, like on this book that comes with this snap adapt thing, you know, they didn't tell you where to plug any of the wires for your third gauge that has 4 gauges on it. So I think that's probably just an oversight by them. They need to go in and add that for this particular model that comes with the Speedo tax separate and the 4 gauge on its own. But man, after cutting and splicing everything and getting everything where it worked, because this was my downfall here, trying to use this and not knowing, you know, initially that the pins, the lettering on the pins didn't match what was actually plugged in. So just started over, cut, rewired. The illumination on the dash is not working. So I've ordered headlight switch from O'Reilly's, and I went ahead and got a dimmer switch too, because I know the dimmer switch on the floor is just froze up. So gonna go ahead and replace both of those and get the dash put back in, and I can kind of show you guys what that looks like, what we got going on there. And I'll probably show the little process of pulling out the headlight switch, because you never know, you might have to do this one day on one of these trucks. But we're making progress, and at least, you know, all the gauges work. They just don't light up when you pull the headlight switch right now. So way better than when we started with 0 gauges, none at all. So we've made some progress. All right, so headlight switch installed, new dimmer switch put in the floor. If you guys have never seen anybody do that, I'm sure there's a ton of videos on YouTube to show. This particular headlight switch, I had to give it the good gulf to get the little rod to seat. I had almost given up. With the switch out, I could push the rod in and it would grab. With the switch installed, man, it just didn't want to do it, and I just kept kind of just ramming, and it finally grabbed. So I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. If you're running into that issue, maybe give it a little bit more force. But all our lights work, our illumination works on our wiring. Now we just need to take our entire bezel here and kind of start working it into place. And I have ignition off, so we're not going to get any power going to this stuff while I'm plugging it in. But again, there's 3 plugs. They're all exactly the same, so I've kind of just gone through and marked what goes where. And you'll, if you're doing this, have to kind of fight with the same thing. All right. My wiring came out of my zip tie here. That's fun. Let's smash that back down a little bit. One wire. One wire is fighting me. Stay in. There. And again, like a lot of these looms, there's only like 3-4 wires. I don't know, man. They just give you the same exact loom. Maybe they're, you know, it's a cost thing and it's just much cheaper to do it that way. But if they could give an exact loom for each one, that would be great. But I understand. Let's go ahead. Let's key on. Make sure we got power to everything. I got my 2 buttons here that I'm not planning on putting anywhere. So, trip, service, miles per hour. I want this to be an odometer. And I'll show you guys a close-up of this.
Good feet, Harley race.
Oh.
And I feel I can do it now. The circumstances and everything's going my way.
Don't want to hear my Bluetooth. So I guess, I don't know, let's maybe leave an hour meter over there, I guess. And then our GPS speedo, it's gonna need to be outside to activate. Well, not activate, just work. It's trying to activate itself currently. So we definitely need to screw this guy in, our locking hubs light, and don't do it upside down. That would have been really funny. It's like your car rolled over. And I believe, man, they don't give you a lot of wire to do this with, but these guys should work too. Yay. Gauges light up. Oh no. The odometer has switched. All right. Probably gonna have to find a permanent mounting solution for these buttons, because it looks like it'll be an ongoing thing having to press them. But I kind of just wanted a hidden setup for now, because I know the dash is going to come out again, and I want really not to finalize where everything goes until I've gotten my AC figured out and everything else. So this is sort of temporary permanent. And that's it. Let's run a couple screws in our locking hubs here. Lost that one. Where did that screw go? Had to have landed somewhere. Man, there's so much junk on the floor of this carpet. I'm purposely not cleaning it due to the fact that it's all getting pulled out. All right. Let's turn everything off. I'm probably gonna have to maybe move these gauges around. I don't know. The old locking hubs thing's fighting me. All right, I'm gonna go grab a regular screwdriver and take care of this. Well, got her wrestled back into place after I screwed down the old locking hubs light. This thing does have some little clips that clips into. Everything else is the old Phillips head action. And I think that's probably about as good as we're going to be able to get it. We need to line up our screw holes here, what's in the dash, which might take me a minute. So it feels like this thing's not pressed back quite as far as it needs to go. I mean, it's close. She's in the ballpark. Just don't know how happy some of this stuff is back there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab a light and kind of look really from the under side and just see any of this stuff is at all close to where it needs to be. And then we got our little map light dangling here, but we can key on, gauges sweep, come on, turn off. Let me just get a light where I can look up under and try and line things up a little bit better. Woo, she was close, but definitely needed a little force. I'll go ahead and put a few turns on this screw. I ain't gonna smoke it down yet so I can move stuff around a little, but yeah, she's tight in there. There's a lot of new wiring that wasn't there before, I can tell you that. But I mean, that whole big giant white cluster thing is gone, so you'd think that'd gave it some space to kind of operate a little bit better. Whew. I think if I pick up on the dash while sliding the screw into the hole and forcing it there. There we go. Oh yeah, she started. Totally normal to have to do that. Now it's real good indication that we're stuffed. Not a bad idea to hand do these screws, just because of how brittle all this plastic is. I mean, everything was creaking and cracking. We still got all our lights, so that's good. I did earlier kind of bump into the light that lights up behind the wiper switch, and that totally blew a fuse that controlled brake lights, parking lights. It was the trailer light fuse, so I don't know, it's kind of strange, but changed it out, everything works. But just from bumping into it, it didn't like to be touched. So keep that in the back of my head too. Don't ever come anywhere near that light bulb. Trying to move the dash into a location that is a little bit happier to. Oh, there we go. It was real happy with that one. Odds this thing ain't real rattly when I'm done. I don't know. Dodge wasn't exactly known for their build quality these days. For the most part, I've had decent luck with this truck, all the wiring, everything, all the sending unit wiring, everything's been good. Speaker wiring, good. I mean, how often do you get a truck from the 80s and the regular old speaker wiring that came with it's still good? It ain't often, I can tell you, because I'm doing a whole lot of like dollar store rewiring, Amazon stuff all the time. It's easier sometimes to do that than to try and decipher what's there. Just build your own harness, essentially, for just including everything that you know you need. And there is one up here right above the radio. Don't want to miss that one. Did put a new radio in while I had it out. No reason really to film that, but we do got tunes now, in case y'all are wondering. Them long road trips we're gonna take in this thing. Not really, but when you live in Texas, there's at least this part. I mean, it's a half hour to go anywhere, and I'm okay with that. Much rather do that than live in the city and be fighting traffic all the time. That might be the opposite way that switch was in when it came out, but the wiring now is telling me to flip it around this way, but I could be wrong on that. I don't really remember the orientation this thing came out in. Oh, does it only go back in one way? Dang it. Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to stretch some wires, get this thing put back where it was, and then, man, let's start this thing up, pull it out, see what them gauges do. Well, got that thing tightened up. The old map light. Now we're just barely idling cold here at 500 RPM. And we got a little under half tank, a little over 50 psi oil pressure. Temp gauge hadn't started to do anything yet, but let's go ahead and kick the lights on. Ooh, man, what 100% difference. What a difference. Got a little bit of lightage of the blinker. I don't know if that's normal or not. Well, and the illumination knob does work for this. So that's like a little potentiometer that you change, or a variable resistor. It's one or the other. See if I can pull her out. Yeah, this thing, it does not like the cold weather. So what we're looking for is to pick up some satellites on the foggiest day of the year. Man, this thing's running rough. So we're still flashing red on our GPS speedo. God, this thing, it sounds real rough. She's having a hard time warming up this morning. Oh, our dome lightage is not turning off. Do I have something? No. Is it possible the doors aren't closed? It ain't that one. Gotta be a door switch or something. Because the old dome light, she's just flaring on. I turned everything in the truck works. It's just kind of weird stuff like that. Alright, so let's see if we can get some speed on the Speedo. Put our first miles on this dash. God, man, this truck. She's struggling. Oh, we've got 10 mile an hour-age. Feels like the truck's running on anywhere from 3 to 5 cylinders. Got oil pressure. $1,000. The snap adapt thing, if that would have actually worked for this year model truck, that would probably be a little bit nicer. And I told you guys you can make it work. It's possible. I was just kind of frustrated and at my wits' end. Just kind of sniffed and wired everything in. But it all works. It's fine. The guys that were wiring from the snap adapt wiring diagram, I don't know how. It's just not right. The diagram needs to be gone through, needs to be updated. It's really, it was only telling you to run wires to 2 gauges, and you have 3 gauges on this cluster. So you guys need to look into that. But other than that, just the 3 wiring harnesses being the exact same and having all that wire that doesn't get used, it's not the best. It's fine, it works. The other companies kind of have everything exactly specific to the gauges, and it's more of like a cluster, but this is fine. This is going to work out great for us. So I am not complaining. And if New Vintage USA ever wants me to install a different set of gauges and something, I'll do it. I will do it in a heartbeat, and if they're the only company that makes something I buy, I would buy it again. So, not a paid sponsor, and I paid for all this myself, and just like everything else that gets put on this channel, I'd say it works and it's fine. Take one last look at this thing. So, it is a really cool looking set of gauges compared to the stock. So the hour meter has not done anything, and I didn't even hit 2 miles. I'm still on 1. But see, we're showing a little over 12 volts. Gas gauge already gone down. Good old carbureted engine. And we're hot idling 30 psi. I'd say that's as good as it gets for a 1984 Dodge. Coolant temp 175-ish, I'd say, somewhere around there. But super happy with how this has turned out, and let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Don't look at that door. Don't look at that door. Oh man, I bet this dome light's hotter than the surface of the sun. Oh God. Oh, it went off. Whew, let me fan it a little bit. No, it's back on. Dang it. No. Well, I think that's going to kind of conclude our episode here, folks. Man, I just saw a little bit of my breath there. That's exactly why this truck was running real bad. Got it in the shop, just kind of let it idle for a minute, kind of cleaned up, but just got to keep that in the old back of the head that give this thing 15, 20 minutes to warm up before it wants to go anywhere. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys again as a reminder, this is what I started with. And the whole gauge pack does not work. Not a single one of them. And there's a real good chance on these Dodges, circuit board or this little resistor doohickey thing goes bad. So either one of those, culprit, probably. Or bad grounds. Bad grounds on stuff like this too makes it act all funky. So my question to you is, do you restore something like this? Do you go on eBay, buy something someone says works, or you just order something like what I did? I mean, I almost always do that. I don't trust stuff off eBay like clusters, things like that. You want to buy a control arm? That's one thing. You want to buy electronics like an ABS module? I don't know. I mean, I'll do the companies that rebuild them if that's what they do, I'll do that. But cluster, no, I'd rather just bite the bullet, buy a good set from a company that makes them. And I got nothing, you know, really. I got a couple recommendations, but no bad things to say about this gauge cluster. I mean, it works fine. The install process really wasn't that bad. I was trying to adapt something that they obviously said didn't work, but just trying to make it work. And then when I figured out what was wrong, it's too late to turn back. I'd already started strutting and cutting. But yeah, well, let's let this train pass by. All right, train's gone. Hope everybody enjoyed the video. Wasn't really meant to be a how-to on to install one of those clusters. It's more of a follow along on the progress of this truck that we're making. And I hope, you know, everybody takes that into account when they're watching the video. You know, we're kind of going, you know, start to finish as the four-wheeler drives by. Can't do nothing out here in the country. All right, I think he's far enough away now. But really, yeah, this video series is meant to kind of follow the truck from when I got it to when we're driving it around. And the gauge is just one step in it. And, you know, having no gauges to going to what we have, that's a huge step. And again, I want to thank everybody for watching. And if you take a moment to just like, comment, subscribe. We're a super small channel, but we're growing, and any kind of interaction helps us a bunch. So I always appreciate that, and I try to respond to every comment. I'm only one person, but I try, honestly. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Until you see me again, man, just go out and do something that makes you happy, but just make sure you're doing it on full blast.